Welcome YouTubers. I'm making a little video here on changing a battery. Relatively simple procedure. You do want to take some precautions, but most people would have no problem doing this themselves. Save you a lot of time waiting for your battery to be replaced, but of course you want to make sure it's the battery before you spend $100 to $200 just replacing out a battery. In this climate today, of course, it's about 12 to 15 degrees. That's usually when these things are going to go bad on you, under the worst conditions, when you least expect it. But this is a 2014 Honda Accord i4 engine, Group 51R battery. Just going to do a quick video of removing the old battery and replacing it. There was a recall on the negative battery terminal. I'm kind of going to zoom in on that. They added that new negative terminal, supposedly. I'm sure there's better videos on the exact nature of that recall, but the recall had something to do with moisture getting into the battery management system, so they did change out that terminal recently. It was a two-part recall. But again, this video is about changing the battery, but I just wanted to touch on that. And I just want to go over some of the basic tools here. This is very simple again, but basically we're going to use two 10mm sockets. One I'm going to use for the terminal, the other I'm going to use for the battery hold down. This one is a deep socket because the hold downs here, which by the way I just pre-treated with some liquid wrench. It'll make your life a lot easier, taking the hold down off to remove the old battery. Key isn't around me. There's a smart key on this car. I want to disconnect the negative first, then the positive. First I'll do the hold down, but generally you want to disconnect the negative first, then the positive. When you put the new battery in, it's the opposite. You're going to put the positive terminal on first, and then the negative. So again, we just have a basic. You could use a wrench if you had to, an open-end wrench, or adjustable even, but it's easier if you have a good ratchet set. Again, 10mm is the size for this car, and there's just a basic ratchet 3/8 inch. So we're going to get started. Deep socket, and we're going to loosen the battery hold down. Just broke it. Just broke the seal, is what I mean. Broke it loose. This hold down out of the way, and then we'll just remove the two terminals, and then I'm going to have to take this old battery out, get it over to the battery store, my auto parts supplier, and then there is a core charge for batteries. In this state, I believe it's about $10. It varies, but you want to bring your old battery back, of course, for proper recycling. This is a 2014. This battery is only a little over 3 years old. Kind of went a little quicker than I thought it would. But let's get this off. These are just basic J hooks. They just kind of hook right in there. I'm going to leave it as an assembly. This one, when I put it back on, it's going to be a lot easier. Okay, I'm just going to get a suitable box, which I should have brought out with me before I started, just to put the battery in for proper recycling. So I'm going to put this aside, and then we'll continue. Okay, we're back. Switch over to my regular socket. I don't need the deep socket now. And we're just going to loosen these terminals. Again, the negative first. I want to try and loosen this, kind of avoid taking off bolts if I don't have to, but I will. But this is on there pretty tight. That may have been part of the recall. It's actually a much tighter gripping strap. It actually has grooves on that negative terminal that are kind of digging into the post. So may have to pry that out. There we go, not too bad. Did come off. I'm going to lube, you can see there, there's like actually little grooves in this terminal to create a better seal to the post. I'm going to put some dielectric grease when I put the new battery on. That's just something I like to do. I'm going to coat the terminals, this way they'll kind of prevent corrosion and make it easier to come off when this has to be done again, and it always does. Generally, the original battery lasts the longest. I was hoping to get 4 or 5 years. I got as much as 8 out of certain cars. This one, only about 3, a little over 3 years. Get this out of the way. Put that down there. Now we're going to take off the positive terminal. This one looks like it's much looser for some reason. Alright, positive is off. It's really that simple. Now I'm just going to get the battery. I don't want this really to touch. Just going to remove the battery, get it out of the way. There's just a cover for the battery. You always want to put these back. These kind of keeps the battery contained. Another aid in helping aid against excessive vibration. Quickest way to kill a battery is to have one not secure with a lot of vibration. This kind of helps that. It also kind of protects it, keeps everything in the sealed over the battery. There's actually a lower tray in there that this kind of snaps into, and that keeps the battery isolated from other components. Car companies aren't going to give you anything for no reason at all. So you always want anything that comes with from the factory, you want to put back on there, because it's usually there for a reason. They wouldn't spend extra money adding extra shields, insulation from other electrical components, for whatever reason, if it wasn't necessary. So we're going to put this aside, and when we get the new battery, we're going to make sure we put this over it, put it right back the way it was. Alright, so I'm just going to take this out, put it in a box, bring it to my auto supplier, part supplier, and then we're going to put the new battery. Okay, now that the battery is properly disconnected, I kind of have the proper gear on. Just a pair of rubber gloves or rubberized gloves and some safety glasses. We're just going to remove the old battery, and then we're going to continue, when I get the new battery, return this one, and I'll show you how to reinstall it quickly. Okay, take the battery out. These are heavy. And again, that's a relatively small Group 51 battery I just took out. If you had a Group 65, like one of those big batteries they use in large SUVs or pickup trucks, they're even much heavier. We are dealing with lead plates and that sulfuric acid. Okay, so I will be back with the new battery, and we'll put it in and get this car going again. Okay, the battery has been purchased. Where we left off on the first part of the video, I took the battery out. Again, it's a late model Accord i4. I had some issues, just to let you know. It has nothing to do with the installation process of the battery, but something typical that you will encounter, at least in the Northeast, this time of year when it's the cold snap is hit. We're at about 10 degrees. Went to my local Costco. They usually have pretty good quality battery. They're made by two companies, really, Exide and Johnson Controls. Which one makes which brand, There's some ambiguity. We don't know. I'm sure if you picked up Consumer Reports, if you really wanted to know, you could find that out. From what I understand, Johnson Controls makes the Wal-Mart battery you see right here. But I went to Costco, waited in line at their auto center for about 20 minutes just to be told we're out of stock. And again, this is kind of a common battery because it goes into 4-cylinder Accords. I'm sure other vehicles too. It's a Group 51 reverse case for the 4-cylinder. 6 cylinders, different animal. I believe a Group 35, but I'm not 100% sure. Of course, consult your owner's manual, look at your battery before buying. But they were out of stock, so I ended up having to drive to a super Walmart that was about, an hour away from my house almost. Well, round trip about an hour and 15 minutes. But I got it. And these are pretty good. They have a 5-year warranty, first 3 years, full replacement, prorated thereafter. So, first 3 years, they'll give you a new one, no charge. Let's say the 4th year, you would get, you figure, keep it simple, $100 battery, a little more, but let's keep the number simple. $100 battery, $20 a year. So, if something happened in the 4th year, you'd get about $40 back towards a new one. If something happened in the 5th year, you get about $20 towards a new one. That's what the prorated warranty would mean on this. But yeah, the factory battery had 400 cold cranking amp power. This one has 500 cold cranking amps, and that's what you want. You want to be concerned, at least in this area. If you have a climate that gets the hard freeze, like the Northeast U.S. and other areas, you want to be concerned about cold cranking amps. Those are measured at 0 degrees. The cranking amps, not as important. Those are measured at 32 degrees. So if you're looking for power in a battery, always go by cold cranking amps as the gauge to get the best fit for your needs. Again, the factory had 400. This had 500. There's a date code on there, 118. So it's January 18 of 2018. So if you didn't have a receipt, when you claim on your warranty, they would go by that date code. The factory battery 400, this 500. Not too concerned. Always good to, like anything else in life, usually it's better to have more than not enough. If you had like a nav system, DVD, more electronics, that may be more of an issue. If you have a minivan with all the goodies, you definitely want a powerful battery. But in this case, it's not a big deal. But I'd rather go from a 400 to a 500 than a 400 to a 350. So you want to at least have what you had in there from the factory. And this one happens to be 500 amps. So, okay, I'm just going to get ready to install this, put the camera back. All right, the key today is going to be to work fast. It's very windy, so forgive me if there is some wind noise on the mic of my basic camera here. And it is freezing. It's about 10 degrees and windy, so I'm going to try to do this as quickly as possible. Again, relatively simple job. The hardest part will be securing the battery down. Then, of course, just connecting those two terminals is pretty easy. So I'm just going to get my tools ready here. Okay. Battery in place. Lead battery. Of course, lead plates, very heavy, even a small battery like this. There we go. It's nice and secure. Get these terminals out of the way. Got the protectors right on here. Take those off. Getting the cover. nicely. Okay, that's a good fit. There's actually, on the battery hold down, there's a forward arrow, so you want this piece sticking out. Kind of lets you know that, which is nice. It's integrated into the hold down. This is facing the front of the vehicle. Okay, we're just going to secure this. Just a little side note here before I lock down this, snug down this hold down. I just wanted you guys to see. I know it was on the tripod, you couldn't really see. But this J-hook here, the one facing the front bumper the most, make sure you get it in that hole, the bottom of the hold down, you know, the battery tray, I should say, because there's a few holes there. If you look down there, I don't know if you can see there. There's one there at the base, one there. Just choose the one that's to the left of the hold down here, and that goes right there. You don't want to mix that up. I don't know if you can see that. I'm sorry, not the best angle. There it is. Then the one in the back here near the air cleaner is kind of straightforward. You could just see the J-hook right there. There's the hold down. There's your J-hook. There's only one hole there. It's not as confusing. This one's a little confusing. Always good practice. Take pictures. Now everyone's got a smartphone pretty much. Take some photos before you do this. This way you know exactly what you're looking at when you put it back together. Again, very simple. There's the hold down assembly. You guys could take a look at that. Now I'm just going to put a little dielectric grease on these terminals here. There's the recoil. That's the recoil. I'm sorry, recoil. Honda did. They put on a new module here, something to do with moisture getting into the battery management system. And then again, I had that done a couple of weeks ago, and this battery went just a couple of days later. 3 years old only. But okay, I'm just going to put this back on, and you guys could watch me finish the installation. Okay, I'm just going to wrap this up here. Usually I'd have my gloves on, my hands are freezing, but I work a little better with it. You know, I just want a little more dexterity, I guess. But I'm just going to finish snugging down this hole down here that I just showed you guys. Try to equalize the pressure, keep it even. Again, you want this nice and snug. Not crazy tight, but snug. You don't want the battery moving. If the battery moves, the lifespan is going to be cut dramatically. So you want to keep this nice and tight. Pretty snug. I don't want to go too crazy with this, but let's just see a little more here maybe. There we go. That's nice and snug. That battery's not moving. That's where you want it. You don't want vibration. Vibration's definitely the enemy in the world of automotive batteries. Alright, now we're going to get the terminals on. We're going to do the reverse of the way we took it off, which means we're going to put the positive on first and the negative on last. Back to my short socket there. Going to take off this terminal here. Protective caps. Protect the battery during shipping. Just going to use a little dielectric grease on there. Little dab will do you. Just a little bit there. Protect it. Make it a little easier to come off next time. So put this right on there. You want that down nice and far. Little dielectric grease there. Offer some protection from moisture. And now we're going to snug it down. Okay, nice and snug, not too tight again. You want that on there. Close your terminal cap. Now we'll do the same thing with the negative side. I don't know if you'd hear that wind. I'm sorry. It's a biting wind. Apologize for any static on the mic because of that. There we go. Dab will do you. That's the phrase of this video. Dab will do you. Okay. There you go. Got that on there. Now we're going to put down the negative terminal. Snug that down. Want that down as far as it'll go. Just loosen that up a bit. May go down a little further. Yeah, that's as far down as it's going to go. Switch that back. And let's snug this down. Okay, it's nice and tight. Not crazy tight, but tight enough where it's not going to come off. Okay. Let's get this over here. Get this out of the way. Just going to put a little more. Just a little more dielectric on there. There you go, a little dielectric, and that's on. Keep it nice and snug. That's ready to go. All right. Okay, battery's in there. The terminals are on. Everything's snugged down properly. And now the test. What was dead as a doornail yesterday, we're going to just fire up and make sure that everything was done properly. The test is if the car starts. So here we go. Okay, we're good to go. She started right up. Thanks for watching, and if this video was helpful in any way, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks again. Take care.